Hello everyone. So good morning. So let's start our today's session. So in the previous class, we have started with what is HTML5, right? So we have started what is HTML5 and we have completed what is block level and inline level elements, right? Even we have seen what is div, right? So which is block level element and span, which is inline element, right? So in today's session, we'll cover a few HTML elements like what is HR, BR. Okay, I'll just show you that. So in today's session, we'll be covering about HR. Okay, that is thematic break. Then we'll see what is BR element. Okay, so why we use this type of elements. Okay, that is BR element. Then we'll see what is subscript. Okay, and we'll even see what is superscript. Okay, so first we will start with this. Okay, so then we'll proceed. Next topic is HTML entities. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so let's see what is this thematic break. Okay, so whenever you want to add a break between the paragraph, okay, so we'll be using this thematic break. Okay, so let's open my this web lab. Okay, I have already opened. I'll just add HTML. Okay, so in the body section, I'll just copy some text. Okay, I'll copy this. Okay, fine. So I'll add one paragraph. So I'll add H1. H1 and here H1. Okay, so I'll just add thematic break into. Okay, so now assume like I want to add line. Okay, so I want to separate this. Okay, so I want to start with a new section and you want to add line over here. Okay, so we'll be using this HTML element called HR. Okay, so this is what the tag is, HR. Okay, so this way you can add what lines in your HTML document. Okay, so let's see what the MDN says, right? The HTML HR element represents a thematic break between the paragraph levels. Okay, so for example, change of scene in a story. Okay, if you're writing a web page, okay, where you want to change a scene, okay, in a story. So we'll be using this HR element or to separate the different sections. Okay, so you can see the examples over here, right? So we have first paragraph. We want to separate this two paragraphs. I'm adding this line. Okay, so this is what the use of this HR element is. Okay, okay. So next is line break. Okay, the line break element. Okay, the HTML BR element produces a line break in the text. Okay, so for example, we have a paragraph. Okay, so you want to break that paragraph, or if I want to start in a new line, so I'll be using this. Okay, for this to explain what I'll do is I'll just write a poem. Okay, so we'll understand like how to add. Okay, so here I have copied some text. Okay, you can see this is a simple English poem. Okay, so we have summer. This is a summer poem. Okay, so you can see so many lines. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just copy this text. So I'll copy this text. Okay, so Control C. I'll open my Sublime. Okay, so I'll go to File, New File. I'll save as BR demo. So I'll save in the folder. Okay, so which I have created. Okay, so in initial classes, right? So I've created the folder called class 1. So I'm just saving there. Okay, so I'll save as BR demo.html. Okay, so how to add the boilerplate HTML and hit tab. Okay, so title I'll just give BR demo. Okay. Okay. So in the body section, so what I'll do, I'll add the paragraph. Okay. So P tab, I'll paste that content. Okay. So I'll paste that. Okay. I'll just refresh now. So Control S, let's open that. Let's go to the class 1. Okay. You can see here BR demo. Okay. I'll just open that. Yeah. So you can see here like This is a poem. Okay, so I want to display as a poem. You can see like it is displayed as a paragraph, right? So you can see there is a no break here, right? The warmth of my skin, okay, the heat of my face. Even I'll just show you that text. Okay, this is what the actual poem is, right? So I need to add break over here, right? So for that reason, to add the break, okay, so in our document we'll be using this element, that is line break. Okay, so br. Okay, so let's change this now. Okay, so because this I have added in the paragraph, right? So in the paragraph I need to add the breaks. Okay, so the first break is here, summer. Okay, so that is heading. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just remove this. Okay, I'll just add heading. I'll do control S. Yeah, so I've added this heading. Okay, why it is shifted to next line? Because it is a block level element, right? So even I have explained, so in the block level elements it always starts a new line, right? So h1 and even the paragraph is also a block line. Okay, so now I want to add break over here, that is my skin, right? I'll just show, yeah, my skin, then my face. Okay, so I'll add, okay, so my skin, I need to add break, that is br. Okay, so here also I have to add br. Okay, so just type br and hit tab. Okay, so here also I need to add break br. Here also br, br. Okay, so here br. So basically what does br element will do, so it will add the break, right? Br. So let's add quickly. So this is also br, br. So br and hit tab. Okay, so let's do control S. Okay, so now let's refresh and check. Okay, yeah, you can see, right? So you can see the line break over here. Okay, so this is what the purpose of this br element is. Okay, so next, so we have discussed what is hr, right? So that is this we call it as thematic break. Okay, that it will add the horizontal line, right? So what is br? So br is a line break. Okay, so if we want to add a break in the text, okay, so basically the divisions. Okay, so we'll be using this line break. So next is subscript. Okay, so subscript is nothing but like if you want to add like subscript, or you can see, for example, chemical symbol, right? So C8H10N4O2, right? So how they're adding, so you can see, right? So we have C. Okay, so they have enclosed in the paragraph. Okay, so we have C over here, right? So then they have added 8. Okay, so between this element, that is sub, and even you have a closing tag, that's sub. In between that we have a content that is 8. Okay, so let's try to do that. Okay, let's try. Okay, assume just I want to add CO2. Okay, so I'll just enclose this in so I'll just enclose this in paragraph. Okay, so /p. Okay, so I want to add CO2. Okay, I'll just type C. You can see over C, right? And O, and I want to add 2, but 2 is on the top, right? So what I need to do, I need to add the subscript. So I'll just add subscript sub. Okay, sup is a superscript. Okay, so sub, so we are what we are studying is sub, that is subscript. Okay, so sub, even we have closing tag sub. Okay, so I'll add 2 here. Yeah, you can see, right? So CO2. Okay, if you want to add H2O, I'll just copy the same thing. Okay, so control C, control V. Okay, H2O. So I'll add H. I need to add 2, then I can add O. Right, so this is H2O or any other chemicals. Okay, so if I want to add C12H22O11, so I'll just include this in paragraph. I'll copy same thing, control C, control V. Okay, So I want to add C12. So C, then for adding 12, we'll be using this tag sub, then closing sub. Okay, so C12. Okay, then H22. So H22. So sub, then closing tag sub. So C to H22. Okay, and O12, O11, sorry. Um, then sub. So closing tag sub. Okay, so 11. Okay, so this way you can just add any chemical names, right? So this is what the purpose of this subscript is, right? So even you can see here the HTML subscript element specifies inline text, okay, which should be displayed as a subscript. Okay, so it's what the purpose of this tag is. Okay, so next is superscript. Okay, so if you want to write the equations like ax squared plus bx plus c, okay, the area of circle is the area of rectangle is 2 square centimeter, right? If you want to add square there, okay, so let's try to do that. Okay, next is superscript. Okay, for superscript, what I'll do, I'll just add paragraph. Okay, so I'll just add closing tag. Okay, so I'll add like this. The area of square is 20 square centimeter. So sq, I need to add 20 square centimeter, right? Okay, 20 20 square centimeter. Okay, centimeter square. Okay, so I need to add centimeter square. Okay, so I need to add square at the top. Okay, that is superscript. So what I'll do, I'll just add sup. Okay, the tag is sup. So in everyone we have closing tag slash sup. Okay, so I'll add 2 here. Okay. So that is centimeter, 20 centimeter square. Okay. Okay, so if you want to add equation, okay, so that is ax square plus bx plus ax square plus b square is equal to c square. Like assume this is a Pythagoras, okay, about Pythagoras equation. So let's add that. So let's enclose this in paragraph. Okay, so I will add the closing p. Okay, so ax square. So I need to add square at the top, right? So I'll be using sup. Okay, so closing tag sup. So a square. Okay, so A S U P S U P. Okay, closing. Yeah, so A square. Okay, so you can see the output over here. Okay, so this is A square plus B square. So I'll add B and SUP, then closing SUP. So B square. So in between the tags, okay, so I'm just adding the content. Okay, so B square, A square plus B square equal to C square. Okay, so C. So SUP, then closing tag slash SUP. Okay. Okay, so this is what the purpose of this tag is. Okay, so these are very generic. Okay, so so anyways, we have completed all the basic building blocks of any website, right? Like how to add headings, how to add paragraph, how to add div, and how to add span. Okay, why we use span, why we use this div, right? So this is also elements of HTML. Okay, so whenever you want to add this type of equations or this type of syntax, right? So if you want to display in your websites, we'll be using this elements. Okay, so that is HR, BR, subscript, or superscript. Okay. Okay. So this we have covered, right? So elements like HR, BR, and subscript and superscript. Okay. So next is HTML entities. Okay. Here HTML entities is a piece of text. Okay. So it is a piece of text that begins with ampersand and ends with semicolon. Okay. So you can see over here. Okay. So I'll just show you that. I'll say what is this HTML entities. Okay, you can see like it starts with ampersand. Okay, so it's a piece of text. Okay, So it starts with ampersand and ends with semicolon. Okay. So it is used to display the reserved characters. Okay. So like if you want to add a copyright symbol, okay, for example, if you want to add less than symbol or greater than symbol, because less than symbol and greater than symbol even will be using in the HTML, right? So to add because we have less than symbol and greater than symbol, then we have a character in between like paragraph or heading. Okay. So if I want to add this less than symbol, okay, so it should not so the document should not recognize this HTML document. Okay. So if I want to add this less than or greater than, so we'll be using the HTML entities. Okay. So we have HTML what name and the number. Okay. So if I add this, okay, that is ampersand LT semicolon, you can see this less than symbol. Okay. If I want to add copyright, okay, basically the which is difficult to type in your keyboard, like copyright symbol, like euro, right? Then cent. Okay, these are the different. Then registered trademark, right? If you want to add this, okay, so we'll be using this HTML entities. Okay. So you can see that there are so many HTML entities, right? So exclamation mark, then this braces, then semicolon, then slash, right? So question mark, okay, at the rate symbol. Okay, you can see like so many entities over here, right? So if you want to add in your web document or anything, okay, so we'll be using this. Okay, so let's try to add a copyright symbol. Okay, so for example, if I want to add what so what I'll do is I'll enclose in bracket. Okay, so that's in paragraph slash p. Okay, so if I want to add copyright symbol, so what I'll do, so I'll add ampersand. So it always starts with ampersand. Even you have a number, okay, you can use anyways now name method or number method. Okay, so it starts with ampersand. So I'll add copy. This is what the syntax is, and yes, you can see the copyright symbol, right? So this way you can just add any HTML entities, right? So you have ampersand, you have so many entities over here, right? So if you want to add this, okay, you can just type either either this syntax, okay, either this or either this. Okay, so you have so many names over here. You can use anything to add it. Okay, so if I want to add this right arrow, okay, so I'll just copy this. Okay, I'll just paste in this and I'll p, so slash p. Yeah, you can see this arrow over here, right? Yeah, you can see the arrow over here, right? So here we have copyright symbol. Anywhere here we have what arrow? If I want to add registered character, okay. So if I want to add registered, that is registered trademark. Okay, even you have a number, even you have a name. Okay, so I'll just use this ampersand and one hash 174. So Control C. I'll post it over here. Slash p. Yeah, so you can see like registered symbol. Okay, this is what the purpose of HTML entities is. Okay, so basically it will display the reserved characters and invisible characters and the characters which is very difficult to type in your keyboard. Okay, this is what the purpose. Okay, so if you want to add any symbols, no, just refer this. Okay, HTML entities. Okay, so just copy this entity name or entity number. Okay, and you can just paste it. Okay, this is how we'll add this registered or copyright symbol in our web page. Okay. Okay, so next topic is HTML semantics. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, this is what make different from basic HTML and HTML5. Okay, so even we have seen like HTML5, we have extra elements like which is not in basic HTML, right? The semantic markup is very important. Okay, so let's see this. What is the semantic markup? Okay, so there are some text elements that are not intended to affect the structure of your web page. So what is meaning of this? So if you visit any web page, right? So you can see like we have different sections, right? Like I have heading section, then we have main content, or then you have a footer, right? Then have image section, right? So before semantic markup, that is basic HTML. Okay, so we used a very basic container. There's to add the contents of the web page. Okay, so in a basic container called div. Okay, so even we have seen that, right? For example, I'll just go to one website. Okay, so I'll just check, show you that. Even I have shown in the previous class, that is MDN, right? So if I inspect this, okay, so if I inspect this, we can see, right? So here everywhere we have a containers here, right? That is div. Okay, so the contents of the page has been wrapped in containers. Okay, that is div. Okay, so you don't have any other sections where we are everywhere we have a div. Okay, so let's go to other section. Okay, so let's check this website. Okay, Stripe website, it's payment website. Okay, let's check this. Okay, let's inspect this. Yeah, so when you inspect this, okay, here also we have divs. Okay, so along with the divs, you can see something here like sections, right? So you can see here section. Here you can see what if I split his head. You can see the sections. Then you can see header, footer. Okay, I'll show you that. Okay, we have sections. We have sections. Okay, so I'll just show you in this diagram, then I'll explain you first. Okay, so in the whole HTML format, okay, so when there's a basic HTML, okay, the contents of the page, okay, so was divided with the help of this div. Okay, so you can see like for heading we'll be using div. Okay, so for the main content, okay, so we'll be using this div again to post something. Okay, that is this article or anything. Okay, so we'll be using this div. Even for that footer we'll be using div. Why we using this div? Because we are wrapping that particular content, right? As I said, like in the website we have so many contents, right? We have main content, then there are some nav bars, right? So where it will redirect to some other web page, right? So even we have a footer. Okay, we have what images, okay, videos, right? So that we have to be structured properly, right? So in basic HTML we'll be using this div, right? So that is a basic container, right? So now in the HTML5, okay, so we'll be using called semantic tags. Okay, so what is this thematic tags? Like we have like header, right? Okay, we have this header, we have this footer, right? You can see like we have a nav over here, like we have main. Okay, under main we have a different tags, that is element, that is articles, right? This header, footer, and nav. Okay, so all this considered as a semantic because they are accurately describe the purpose of that element. Okay, and type of the content inside them. For example, if I'm adding a nav element over here, if I add a nav, okay, so you can find all the anchor tag links there. Okay, like a links. Okay, so where will it redirect to any other web page. Okay, if I enclose within the header section, it's all the main content. Okay, so will be in the header section. Okay, if I footer part, okay, so will be a footer content. Okay, so this is what the main purpose of semantic tags. Okay, so even you can see here. Okay, I have added one image over here, right? So we have a header, right? So we have header, we have footer, then we have a nav. Okay, inside the each article again we have split it, right? So now inside the each article you can see we have a header. Okay, so you can see we have heading. Okay, then I have used a div over here, right? So this how the document is structured, right? So this is what the purpose of this semantic tags. Okay, there are so many semantic tags, okay, which we'll be discussing in detail. Okay, so even have added one example over here, right? So you can see so this is a non-semantic. You can see the div. Okay, I've added ID. So don't worry about this ID class and stuff. Okay, so you can just see this ID and class will be using in the CSS section. Okay, so now you just think like so for one web page. Okay, so we have web page. Okay, to differentiate with the different contents. Okay, so what I'm using div, right? So I'm using div over here. I'm just using div over here for everything. Okay, to add image, I'm using div. For adding main content, I'm using div. For adding header, I'm using div. Okay, this is a non-semantic. Okay, for the semantic, okay, so I'm using that particular section, okay. Like we have semantic elements, okay, like we have header as semantic element, okay, so where I'll use only I'll add only the heading header part, okay. So then I have footer, okay, so I'll be adding footer content, okay. So then I have a section, so inside the each section I have an article, okay. So we'll look into that, what is the article, what we need to add, what is sections, okay, we'll look into that, okay. So this is structured properly, right? So if you see here, it's not structured properly, okay. This is what the main difference between semantic and non-semantic web pages, okay. For example, if you visit the Medium website, right, so you can see like there are so many divs, okay. It does not mean that they have not structured properly, okay. They have used as a div, okay. They have not used semantic elements to structure their web page, okay. So now there are websites, okay, where they have used only the divs, okay. There are websites they have structured properly using this header, footer, sections and articles, okay. So let's check a few of the websites, okay, then you'll get a an idea, okay. So this is this is web page, okay. So, okay, so let's inspect this. Yeah, so you can see here nav, right? So nav is semantic element, okay. So it is used to add the links over here, right? So you can see we have a nav section. So inside the nav, okay, so you can see even we have an article, okay. So even we have an article section, okay. Even you can see header, footer, okay, they have not added, okay. If you inspect properly, no, you can just find that, okay. Okay, so let's inspect this browser page. Okay, just this way you just go to different websites and see like how they have added, right? So here you can see here you also they have added the section, they have used nav, okay. So yeah, okay, so let's go to MD Median, okay. Okay, so this way just go to different websites, okay. So just go to different websites and you can just check, like let's inspect MDN. Yeah, so here you can see header, right? So here there's a header part, okay. There's a header part, okay. So for example, we have this created the dog wiki, right? So I can just put this as a header part, okay. So this as a main content, okay. So I can add, so in the bottom I can just add, so in this part I can just add a nav, right? So I include the nav over here, okay. So you can see in this website, where's MDN, okay, this is a header, okay. This section is header, this part, okay. Then we have a footer, okay. This is what the footer is, this part. When I see this part is footer, okay. So when you click, okay, so when we see in the div, even we have a divs, okay. So you can see like we have so many divs also, okay. We have a main, okay. So we have a main semantic element, okay. So there are so many elements, okay. So let's discuss one by one, okay. I hope now you understood what is the meaning of the semantic markup, okay. So even this what we have mentioned in the slide, okay. There are some text elements, okay, the elements which we have discussed now, like nav, okay, section, okay. So we'll look into the first, we'll see that, okay. So let's see, these are the different semantic elements, okay. So we have a section, okay. So we have article, then we have a nav, okay. We have main, okay. So we have header, footer, aside, summary, okay. So you can see here image also, right? So instead of div, okay, use more specific elements, like instead of divs we're just adding div in our web page, okay. We can use a specific element like header, footer, figure, okay. So even we have seen this figure while creating the tribute page, right? So while adding the image I have added the figure, okay. So where it is enclosed in the figure container, right? So it is specific, so that element is specify that it is used for the to add the figure in that particular this thing, right? This is what the purpose of semantic elements, right? So there are some text elements that are not intended to affect the structure of your web page, okay. Basically it will not affect any other structure, okay. So they do add extra information to the pages, okay. This is known as a semantic markup, okay. So we have so many semantic markup which I have shown, okay. So let's go in detail one by one, okay. So let's check why we add sections, okay. So let's check why we add nav, okay. So first is section, okay. So section is a new thematic group of content on a page, okay. Example, the chapters of displayed book, Okay, so so I'll just show you example, then I'll so if I to go to section MDN. Yeah. So this is a standalone section of a document. Okay. So for example, introduction. Okay. So where you have added all the contents, and if you want to enclose in one container, okay, we'll be using this one section. You can see this one section. Okay. So we have another section. Okay. So where I have explained another part. Okay. Even you can see the output over here. Okay. So, okay, choosing an apple. Okay. So this is one section. Okay. The introduction. Okay. So this is another section. Okay. Criteria is another section. Okay, this is what they have mentioned. So HTML section element represents a generic standalone section of a document, okay, which does not have a more specific semantic element to represent it. Okay, so section should always have heading, okay, with very few exceptions. Okay, so we can add headings in our sections. Okay, so even this what we even have mentioned over here, right? So a section is a new thematic grouping of a content on a page. Okay, so there are a few examples where you can add this section, that is chapters of displayed book, okay, or subsections of an article. You have one article. Okay, so under that we can add a different sections, right? So each section will have one heading. Okay, it's exception, you can add headings. Okay, so even you can see here example, the real world example would be sports or entertainment sections of a newspaper. Okay, is what the purpose of the section element is. Okay, so next is article. Okay, you will get confused, okay, when to add section, when to get article. Okay, when you see the different web pages as an example, right? So they'll understand, okay, where they have added this section, okay, where they have added this article. Okay, so article, I think you have seen the newspapers, right? We have so many articles over there. Okay, so in the newspaper example, the article would of course define an article. Okay, so each article is self-contained and might be republished on its own. Okay, so it is a very independent. Okay, so if you want to add a content, okay, that is independent, or which has to represent independently, okay, that so in that place we'll be using this article. Okay, so I have visited this website, right? So you can see like this is Herald page. Okay, so you can see here, so when I inspect this is one article here. So when I inspect this, so inside the paragraph, I'll just refresh. Yeah. So when I inspect this, yeah, so when I inspect this, we have different sections. Okay, so you have different sections in this, and even you have you have a nav. Okay, in the sections, yeah, you can see here the article. Okay, so here's one article. Okay, paper storyboard. Okay, they have added some class. Okay, so paper storyboard. Okay, this way you can add the different articles. Even have image over here. Okay, so where what is the difference between this art section and the article? Okay, so you can see here. Okay, so we have one section. Okay, so here is one section, right? So here is one section. So here is one section, right? So you can see the opening tag of section and closing tag. Under the each section, we have different articles, right? That is story one, story two, story, which is very independent content, right? So we have a paragraph. Okay, as I said, in sections can include paragraph or headings. Okay, so we have one more sections. I hope now you understood, okay, when to add section, when to add articles. Okay, there are different articles. Okay, okay, this is what the purpose of article is. Okay, so even you can see here, so difference between the section and article. Okay, it is used yeah, the section and article elements are conceptually similar, okay, and are interchangeable. To decide which of this, you should take note of the following. Okay, article is intended to independently distributable or reusable. Okay, so article is intended to be independent. Okay, and the section is a thematic grouping of content. Okay, so even when to use the div and the section. Okay, so this is also very important. Okay, so another point of clarification is that when should you use this section tags instead of div? Okay, so div, we know it is a non-semantic, right? So, and the section is a semantic. Okay, so meaning that you can use them when you just want to style a group of things together. Okay, so while explaining the div and the span, I have used styling concept, right? So I've used like so why we use this div, so basically to style, so we'll be using this in the CSS part. Okay, so just you want to style a group of things, okay, together, whose content may or may not be related. Okay, the sections. Okay, the section tags are semantic. Okay, so you meant to use them only when the content they are wrapped fits under the use case. Okay, so basically they are telling, so div. Okay, so we have a div. Okay, we have a section. So whenever you want to color, or if you want to add the background, if you want to change the style of that particular section, okay, we'll be using div. Okay, which is a non-semantic. Okay, so section is a semantic. Okay, so where we define the proper structure. Okay, so inside section we can add a different articles. Okay, not to worry. Okay, it's good to understand. Okay, to how to structure it. We are just seeing how to structure our particular web page. Okay, when you add, so when we go to the different project sites, so where we'll be adding a different div. Okay, we'll be adding article, we'll be adding what sections. Okay, that time you should be very familiar. Okay, so why we are adding these articles. Okay, so as an example, we have seen like inside the each section, so we have a different articles we can add, like different stories. Okay, or different paragraph. Okay, okay, is what the purpose of this section and the article. Okay, so we have seen the example. Okay, so next is nav. Okay, so nav is very simple. Okay, so even we have opening and the closing tag over here, right? The major navigation grouping of links on the page. Okay, so we want to make a section. Okay, that is a separate section where I can add all the anchor tags, right? So you can see we have home, about, and the contact tags, all it will include in nav. Okay, if you visit, I think most of the website will have anchor tags. Okay, so if I, yeah, these are the anchor tags. Okay, like products, developers. Okay, when I click onto this, sorry, so when I click onto this, yeah, so you can see it's in the class nav. Okay, so you can see here, right, nav. Okay, so it's in the nav. We have an opening tag, even you can see here the closing tag. Okay, so it is basically says that all the anchor tags in this particular section. Okay, is what the purpose of nav is. Okay, you can see the example of here. So inside the nav element, we have different LIs. Okay, so we have anchor tags. Okay, so it will redirect to the slash home, slash about, and slash contact. Okay, okay, so next we have something called a site. Okay, so let's check what the site says in MDN. Okay, so a site element, okay, so represents a portion of document, okay, whose content is only indirectly related to the document's main page. Okay, so you can see the output here. You can see one output here. Okay, so we have paragraph, we have so many paragraph. Okay, so in between this paragraph we have something called aside. Okay, so if you want to add, okay, so which is related to this particular section. Okay, so you can see this is what the aside output is. Okay, so basically it is relating to this particular paragraph. Okay, so it represents the portion of document, okay, whose content is only indirectly related to the document's main page. Okay, so asides are frequently present as sidebars. Okay, so basically if you want to add a sidebars, okay, for example, you have one paragraph. Okay, if you want to give a short description about the paragraph, we can use this aside. Okay, so this is syntax. Okay, we have opening tag even as well as closing tag for this. Okay, you can see here aside. Okay, the contents that tangential to the current flow, like what would you normally be pull aside. Okay, so basically the side this thing. Okay, what we call it, sidebars. Okay, so when you want to add a sidebars, okay, so we'll be using this aside. Okay, it's very simple. Okay, so next is header. Okay, then we okay, we'll check this header. Okay, so next element is main. Okay, so main is very important. You can see main in most of the website. Okay, this defines the page main content. Okay, so if I want to show this in dog wiki, okay, so what I can do is I can just add everything in a nav. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, let's go to Sublime. Okay, have this dog wiki. Okay, so what I'll do, okay, so I'll just go to this nav. So okay, you can see here the UL and LIs which I've added in the class one, right? So I'll just add nav over here. Okay, so nav need tab. Okay, so I'll just add all this content in the nav. Okay, So I'll do Control S. Okay, so now we have added. So here what you can do, talks. Okay, this you can add in one particular section. Okay, so I'll just add section over here. Okay, so in this section we have a paragraph and this paragraph and heading. Okay, Control X. Okay, so you can see like how I'm structuring, right? We have started with the very simple, that is a heading and paragraph. Now we are basically structuring by adding the div, okay, by adding the sections, we have by adding the nav tags, right? When I do Control S and refresh, we can see in the there's no changes. Okay, when you say you can find any changes over here, but you inspect, you can see the different sections. Yeah, so when I inspect this, you can see like we have a nav here, right? So what this nav indicates, so basically this section, this part has all these anchor tags, right? So this is what the purpose of the semantic elements. Okay, okay, so next is main. Okay, this defines the page main content. Okay, so it should be enclosed in any of the section tags, okay, except the page body tag. It should not contain anything that repeated elsewhere across your site, like navigation or main footer. Okay, basically the main content of your web page will be inside this tag. Okay, so even we'll have opening and the close tag for this main. Okay, so let's quickly finish this. Okay, next we have header. Okay, so header, the group of introductory or navigation aids. Okay, so basically we can add the nav inside the header. Okay, okay, so all these things like the tables of contents for the page or article within can use this header part. Okay, next we have footer. Okay, the footer for the nearest content section. Okay, so it will be in the bottom side. Okay, bottom side of our web page. Okay, we'll be using that. Okay, so even we can enclose the time. Okay, so you can see the syntax for the time. Okay, so there are so many elements this way. Okay, we have figure. Okay, this we have seen, right? So we'll have figure tag, that is opening and the closing. Okay, we have figure tag. Inside the figure we can add an image. Okay, so this way we have so many elements. Okay, now, this is what the purpose of semantic, and we have so many elements in semantic. Uh, Okay, semantic markup. Okay, okay. So this what was today's agenda. Okay, so we have completed basic HTML element, that is HR, BR, subscript, and super subscript, right? And even we have seen what is HTML entities, right? Then we have seen the semantic markup. Okay, so from now on, okay, so the projects which will be building. Okay, so we'll be using the semantic markup, like how to add the main content. Okay, so how to add sections and how to way to add articles and where to add a footer, header. Okay, so way to add nav. Okay, so we'll be adding this. Okay, so okay, so next class. Okay, so we'll be starting with HTML forms and tables. Okay, so we'll see how to add the tables and forms in our web page. Okay, so even let's check so the topics which we have covered. I hope you all completed the activities which are given in section, right? So to create the tribute page. Okay, if you have completed, just try to take the screenshot of it and uh, can just add in the comment section. Okay. Yeah. So we have seen what is HTML5, right? So even we have seen what is block and inline elements. Even we have seen block level element is div and inline element is span. Okay. So even we have seen this element, that is HR, BR, subscript, superscript. Okay. Even we have discussed the entity codes. Then we have seen the intro to semantic markup, right? So even we have seen few elements, right? Okay, so next class we'll be starting with the HTML tables. Okay, so where we see how to add tables in our web page. Okay, so let's summarize. Okay, let's go to Reddit website. Okay, so reddit.com. I think in the Reddit also we have a lot of devs. Okay, so if I want to say, okay, so what is the main what is this section? So I can just include this section as header, right? So where I have logo and we have right search bar. Okay, so let's inspect this. Okay. Okay, even we can see a lot of divs over here. Okay, so there are divs. Okay, so they have not given any semantic elements. Yeah, it completely depends on the developer. Okay, so how they want to develop it. Okay, yeah, everything is div. Okay, uh, so when I inspect this MDN this page, yeah, here you can see the header, right? So this is what the head, there's a nav. Okay, you can see there's a nav on this part is header. uh, when I inspect, yeah, so this part is header, you can see a header, right? So this part is nav. Okay, so when I click on the even this also this everything is a nav. Okay, so all is everything is a nav. You can see something aside. Okay, so even you have aside, you have a footer. Okay, so basically MDN they have given a semantic elements to structure their web page. Okay, this is how it's completely depend on the developer. Okay, so you can add the div. Okay, so you can add div, and you can add so many div to structure a document, or you can just use the semantic elements like footer, nav to structure a document. Okay, okay, fine. So we have done like with the today's topics which I wanted to discuss. Okay, so in the next section, so we'll be starting with HTML table. Okay, which I've said. Okay, so even we have started the shorts. Okay, so where I'll be asking a question, right? So simple questions related to what we have discussed. Okay, try to answer them. Okay, so even we'll be launching HTML challenges. Okay, soon. Okay, so you can just participate and win prizes, right? Okay, fine. So I'll end today's session. Okay, so let's meet the next section where so where until then just try to practice okay what we have discussed in today's session. Okay, and activities anyways I have given. Okay, try to complete that. Okay, so until we finish the next section, okay, then again I'll give few more activities there. Okay, until then you have a time, just try to complete those activities, that is a tribute page and even the technical documentation. Okay, so once you're done, just try to post the screenshot of it in the comment section. Okay, okay, fine. So have a nice day. Okay, so do well, be safe. Okay, bye.